Good morning, it's Dave at All Things Important Reviews. Please smash the like button and smash the subscribe button for more awesome watch content. This is a 1 year follow-up review. I've actually had this watch now for more than a year, but I did mean to do this a few months ago. Just to see how this watch has held up over the time after being battered and used in pretty much every occasion possible. This is an AliExpress watch. This was one of the first AliExpress watches to remind me the quality of what can be had in terms of the specification from these cheap Chinese brands. And it also reminds me how much the big brands that design these watches, really, because this is a homage, rip people off on these massive prices when this watch you're getting, 80 to 85% of what is in some of the more, super expensive luxury watches to some degree. This is the Pagani design PD-1651, and it's a kind of blend between the looks of the Rolex Yachtmaster and the Rolex Submariner, in my opinion. The closest they do, the Rolex do a watch called the Yachtmaster. It's actually 42, the Rolex is, and they do it on a band. But obviously, this is a 3-link bracelet, and it's been speculated that they will actually produce a watch that is similar to what I'm holding in my hand right now. Actually, in terms of the colour combination and bracelet, this is the Pagani design 1651, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel, 40mm nominal, only about 12.3mm thick, about 48mm lug to lug, fully solid stainless steel bracelet with screw links. Oh, I'm missing them. Yeah, screw links. With fold over deployant clasp with safety catch in the style of the Rolex one. Very, very similar with a on the fly extension. It's not a slide adjust, a gliding lock. It is got a pin in there, but you can actually extend it on the fly by just doing that, and I've just done. Now, I'll quickly go over, so I've gone over the basic specs of the watch. I've reviewed it on my channel, but I just thought I'd show you that it is still ticking okay. It's got, I think, an NH35 movement in it. So, as you can see, the sapphire crystal has absolutely no scratches on it, even though I have done a lot of different things with this. I've been swimming with it. I've whacked it into doors, accidentally, obviously. I've dropped it on the floor. I've done loads of different stuff with it. You can see that the sapphire crystal is absolutely perfect. There is no scratches visible on that I can detect anyway. And as well, the Cyclops is perfectly fine as well. Other than a bit of residue around it, which you can get off, it is perfectly fine. The bezel, which is ceramic, again, it's not the most amazing bezel in the world in terms of the action. I think it's a little bit too easy to turn now, personally, having used other brands. It doesn't feel as tight, I should say. But as you can see, looking at that bezel, the material, which is, I believe, a ceramic in a relief style with the black, with like a dark grey with the black or very dark markers on the dive bezel, you can see that again, it's practically pristine. It's practically pristine from when I bought it. Let me just see. Yeah, that's just some residue. So yeah, so the actual ceramic material clearly has held up. Okay. It is 100-meter water resist, which I believe is totally fine for most, most activities in the pool. I would even say you can get away with diving with it. I would personally. I know loads of people that would do it, no problem. You know, to depth. Most people only dive to depths of about 10 meters, if that. So for that, I would say you can get away with it. With 100-meter watches in general. You know, the case back again, beautiful exhibition window. Why is it not focusing? Yes, focus on it. Beautiful exhibition window that you can see the movement in. I really do like that touch, by the way. I think it's more difficult for manufacturers to do this and to get the water resist rating by using, you know, polycarbonate or whatever it is, or sapphire even. I don't know what they've used here, which is why a lot of suppliers will just want to put a stainless steel, you know, stamp on it, if you will. But they do a nice case back on the Paganis. They do. The case sizing and everything, you know, the bracelet sizing, everything is matched with, in my opinion, the Rolex Submariner. Basically, it has the same style of case as the Rolex Submariner that was produced from 2010. That model that was produced from 2010 to 2020. The new model is a 41mm style, which has slightly reduced lugs, more curvaceous lugs, but this is the old style, the more fatter style, that I actually prefer. Now this is a 40mm watch, but for the vast majority of people, I would say this would feel more like a 42mm watch, and the reason is because this big case. The big supporting slabby style case makes this watch feel way bigger than a 40mm watch. It feels more like a 42, 43. Which is why people that buy this model or a similar model in 43mm with a big case will find it too big. But, you know, the bracelet, I've scratched it to high heaven, as was always going to happen. This is actually the original bracelet. You've got the beautiful polished centre links with the brushed outers. I have obviously scratched it loads, but that would happen if this was a real Rolex versus a cheap 70 quid or whatever I paid for it watch. I paid for probably about 70 quid at the time. I think now you can't buy them that cheap, or it's more difficult. I think now they're probably going to be more like £90, 85, 90 quid. By the way, there will be an affiliate link below. It would be appreciated if you could use the affiliate links if you are going to buy this watch or any other watch, because it just helps me, you know, get more watches to buy and review. I've scratched the clasp. Again, the clasp is fine. One thing I've noticed, and I've had probably about 15 versions of these types of watches from Liege, Pagani, you know, loads of other homage brands. And one thing I can say is that I have noticed on some of them that this joint there's a joint here that can sometimes just fail, or that joint can fail. The materials are obviously not what Rolex put in them. If you've ever felt the Rolex Oyster clasp, it is built like a tank, the real one. The tolerances are better, the materials are better. Rolex puts ceramic bearings now in the latest ones, but the actual mechanism is better on the Rolex, obviously because it's a 10-gram watch. So obviously it's better, but I'm just saying that this is still a decent effort, but sometimes the clasps can fail because the materials are not super amazing. But it's a small price to pay. You can pick up these bracelets for about 15 GBP, which is an absolute steal, because they are ultra comfy. 20 to 16mm taper, a beautiful taper. Okay, I mean, if you think of all them things added up, ceramic, sapphire, fully stainless steel bracelet, end links, nice clasp, polishing. The polishing is good. Signed crown. When you add all them things up, and you think what other watch brands charge you, like Citizen and Seiko and all that, for watches that don't have sapphire crystals, that use crappy hardlex or use, and I'm excluding Casio, because Casio's, I don't agree that Casio's mineral crystals are the same as other brands, because they are more durable. I don't know what they do to them, but from experience, the Casio ones generally are much more difficult to scratch. On the G-Shock range, on the super cheap Casios, yes, you can scratch them very easily, but most brands don't put sapphire in it, don't put ceramic in it, don't have fully solid stainless steel bracelets like Orient and all them, and they charge loads more. And Pagani have shown that you can put high quality materials to some degree. They're not absolutely amazing, like I said about the engineering tolerances and all that type of stuff, like in this. But you can put those materials in a bracelet, in a watch, sorry, and do it for less than 100 quid, and give the feel of luxury when it's not obviously luxury, but it gives the feel of it. Look, beautiful, beautiful watch. As I said, feels way bigger than 40mm. Although, coming from wearing G-Shocks recently all the time, it feels dinky to me. But that bracelet, with it having such taper on it, it's so comfortable. It is so comfortable. You can wear this all day long, no problem whatsoever. It doesn't get sweaty under there. It doesn't feel top heavy. It feels absolutely fine. It would also look fantastic on a rubber band, in my opinion. There's loads of aftermarket rubber bands on the internet. You can even get, on AliExpress, sorry, you can even get Pagani's, OEM, well, their recommended rubber band from them, but you can get better ones on the internet that have a clasp like this to go with it. That they're the best types, in my opinion, not just a simple tangent buckle. So all in all, the watch is clearly held up. It's clearly held up, and it's held up in the areas that I thought it would, in the sapphire crystal, in the ceramic bezel. The bracelet still looks fine. It's got that luster because of the shine that they've done on it. It is scratched to high heaven, but you know what? I've got about 5 replacement bracelets that I can swap it out for, because I've bought about 5 extras just to have them here in case I ever want them. I can't really show you this too great, but let me just put the clasp together, try and show you. I'm trying to show you, it's difficult this, it's a bit too difficult to show you, but I was trying to show you how much the bearings, or the pins, the screw pins, are warping over time, and they don't seem to be doing too bad at all. I've had this watch actually probably about a year and a half, and you know what, it's running okay. Again, the movement, they're not super accurate. It's an H35, I believe, or one very similar. The accuracy when I first got it was very good. It was probably about 10 seconds a day. Now it will be significantly different from that. Again, you can play with them if you want. I don't wear this watch for accuracy. I just wear it for the looks. That's just the truth. But all in all, an amazing bang for buck watch, and it reminded me why I love watches when I bought this watch, actually. I'd love the Rolexes if I could ever afford them, but I wouldn't pay that much money for them because I think the prices are ridiculous. I think people paying over, you'd have to have literal money to burn to pay 10 grand on a watch, in my honest opinion. You can buy so many other watches with that money. I just could not justify ever spending that type of money on a watch, but I know millions do that have loads of money, and it's a social status symbol and all that type of stuff. The dial, you can get this one in blue and dark grey, or blue and black, or you can get it in a plain like dark grey. I would prefer this actually if they did this model as an option with a piano black. They don't, as far as I'm aware. However, the blue, I like the blue and dark and black. I do. I think it works. It has another bit of depth to it. So yeah, all in all, a great all-round starter AliExpress homage watch, and it's held the time, as you can see. If you go back in my reviews for this watch, you can see it has held the time, or it stood the test of time, I should say. So yeah, so I just thought I'd show you that one. I'll do a couple more follow-up reviews just to show that they are still ticking after a year of use. They're not just going to fail on you, as some people believed. I would actually like it if they did quartz options for people like me that are not bothered about the automatic. Just get a quartz, or even if they could even up it. I mean, I wouldn't expect this from an AliExpress brand, but I would love stuff like tough solar. They would never do this in AliExpress, or very unlikely. A tough solar model that had charged off the sunlight or fluorescent light, or even radio timekeeping or something like that. That would be amazing to have that on these types of watches. Maybe we'll get that in the future. So yeah, so thanks for checking this out. I've got loads of watches on order coming in. We're going to get to 1,000 subs eventually, but it's not something I'm totally bothered about because I just like producing this content on the side. Thanks a lot for checking my reviews out. It's been Dave.